Welcome back to Be Real, the way that we actually put self-care strategies into practice. You maybe know right now that self-care isn't selfish, it's actually your duty. But how? How do we actually pull it off? How do we make self-care the priority it needs to be? How do we make sure that our needs are honored and validated by ourselves and our actions and our choices? So today's Be Real is about somebody asking something of you. So we're going to kind of play this out. You run into a friend, you're like, hi, oh my gosh, so happy to see you. And it's genuine. You really, really are happy to see that person. And that person says to you, hey, I've got that, like, let's go out on such and such night, right? And everything about you is like, yay, I want to go out. I love being asked, love being included. It all feels good. But you know that you've been out too much. You've been doing too much. What you really need is a night in. So you take a moment and you pause. This is hard. Sometimes it feels like you're turning the Titanic in this moment because we want to go with the enthusiasm. And yet afterwards, we have this moment of regret, like I let myself down again. I said that night I was going to be home, that I was just going to curl up because that's what I needed. I was brave enough to ask that question, what do I need? The answer came up, I need a quiet night. But here you are in real time, in the moment, you're asked to do something and you have to make a choice. And this is when we bail on ourselves. We get caught up in the moment and we forget, we get amnesia about our needs, our Pavlovian pull to please other people, to be embraced and included. We got to catch ourselves and say, wait a minute, what about my responsibility to myself in this moment? So, friend has just asked you to do something. You love this friend, want to be with this friend, but you know that your need to be home is more important. So you simply pause. Thank you. I love being with you. Thank you so much for thinking of me. The fact is, I have another commitment on that night. So can we plan another night? Can I call you with some dates? Can I text you with some dates? Let's set up another date right now. Because we know that the commitments we make to ourselves are flimsy. And they're so vulnerable to other requests. Often they're just distractions. We don't want to be with ourselves. We don't know how to be in our own company. And so even though when we took that time to ask, what do I need? Boy, are we looking for a way out. So, but being real means that we hold our commitment to ourselves in real time, in this real moment, where we actually honor the word that we say to ourselves. This is how we repair the relationship we have with ourselves. If we continue to break promises to other people, those people wouldn't be in our lives anymore. But we're stuck with ourselves. And if we don't like the relationship we have with ourselves, here's our chance to change it. Start being reliable and responsible and accountable to yourself. So that means that sometimes your needs are actually going to inconvenience others, or it's going to put you at the risk of not being liked or not being included. But what about liking ourselves? Byron Katie says, it's not your job to like me, it's mine. And yet this is a relationship we don't tend to. The relationship we have with ourselves is the one we'll have for the rest of our lives, till death do us part. And yet we bail on ourselves over and over again. So friend has asked us to do something. We're so happy to be included. Thank you. Yes. I'm not available that night. That's one of my favorites because the minute we get into a debate, let's say, instead we answered, oh, well, I've got this and I was really going to spend a night in and blah, blah, blah. We give all these details. We've now provided ammunition. That person may be way more persistent than our resilience. So, and resiliency. They may be able to sway us because we've just given them opportunity to debate us. So how about we just stay with, I'm not available, period. But I love you, can't wait to spend time with you. Let's pick another date. And then make sure that you honor that date. So if you've held a commitment to yourself, in real time, I want you to anchor that in. I want you to take the dates that you have with yourself and take them seriously. Treat them like a contract, like a commitment with somebody else. You would hold that dear. I know you wouldn't break that cavalierly, but we abandon ourselves and our flimsy attempts to show up for ourselves in the way we show up for others, we abandon them like that. So being real in real time with a self-care crisis, right, or opportunity, right, is we had a plan to stay in, to take care of ourselves, to do a bubble bath, to go to bed early, whatever it was that we needed. And here comes an invitation that's tempting. But being real means remembering that we made that date with ourselves because it was something that we needed and that was legitimate. So that person says, come, and our answer is, I'm not available. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Let's set another date. If it's someone you really don't want to spend time with, say, I'm not available. Thanks for thinking of me. And that's enough. You don't need to add anything more. And if that person continues to persist and you don't want to be direct and just say, I'm really not available to you, it can be harsh, but actually sometimes it's the more kind action to be direct. But if you don't want to go that way, continue to say, I'm not available, thank you. And leave it at that. Stand in your power. Remember the promise you made to yourself. Fortified your word to yourself. And that's how we get real with self-care strategies.